Hey YouTubers, it's Valerie with Money Mindset Coach, and today I want to talk about the painless ways that I save money every day and saving the ways that all of you can save money too, because we all know that if we don't have money saved, when something comes up, like a car repair or a home repair or a medical bill or something, we're going to be in trouble because we don't have that extra money put aside. And so I was actually talking to one of my sons yesterday, and I said something to him about, because my car was in the shop, and he said something about, wow, it must be nice to have a savings account. And I wrote back and I said, yes, it is. And I started to think about that, and I was thinking, that would make a good video. I have talked about saving money before, but there are a couple ways that I am saving money now, a couple of ways that I've added that I wasn't doing before. And so I kind of wanted to share the new things I'm doing, the things that I've been doing for a long time, and just how easy it can actually be to save money and save every day. My name is Valerie. My name of my channel is Money Mindset Coach. I started this channel because I have made pretty much, not all, but pretty much every financial mistake that you can make. And I've gotten out of debt. I've learned how to do it, and I just want to share those things with all of you. So I've been there and I've done that. I've done the dumb stuff. I've done the stupid stuff. Like Dave Ramsey, he said he had a degree in DUMB, and yeah, I have done some of those things, a lot of them. So anyway, I am in a much better position now, and I want to help all of you, because if I can do it, you can do it. So, okay, how to save money. This one is a new one for me that I just started doing, and I heard it from another YouTuber, because we all listen to each other, and this one is so easy. Basically, I have a savings account connected online to my checking. I have money, and then I've got that divided into growth and then just regular savings. So there's two different places that I can put my savings when I do transfer. But basically, it's transferring $5 every day into your savings. And when you do that, are you going to miss $5? Not really. You could go to the grocery store, you could go to Starbucks and get a coffee and pay $5 and not think a thing about it. So why not just transfer $5 from your checking over into your savings? When you add that up over a year's time, $1,800 painlessly. $1,800. That's the thing about saving. It doesn't have to be these huge amounts. It can be these small ways that you do it that add up over time. And they really do add up. This one, $1,800 in a year, which is awesome. Okay, where I work, it's a kitchen boutique store. We've got a bookstore. We've got a toy store. It's a really cool store in the tourist town that I live in. Well, you know how when you're going to pay, and there's where you can tip the person. I have to say, this is crazy, but the biggest tip that I have gotten was a couple weeks ago. Somebody bought $152 worth of product and tipped me $35. I was shocked. I was shocked. I mean, I had a great conversation with this woman, but I didn't do anything outstanding. Now, sometimes I'm giving people advice about the products that we have and helping them find things, and I feel that if I'm doing something like that and they want to tip me, fine. I'm okay with that. But if I'm just behind a register and I'm ringing stuff up, I don't expect people to tip me, but I'm very thankful when they do. Before I got that $35 tip, I got one, the highest one I'd ever gotten was 20. I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. But we use the Square system. And basically, I can look on my phone into where I'm, all the hours that I've worked, and it'll tell me the tips that I've made. So what I do is I save my tips. Yesterday, I got a tip for $9.50. I'm going to save that. And so when I get paid, I go into Square, I look, and for the 2 weeks that I'm getting paid for, I look at what the tips were, and I take that amount of money and I put that in my savings too. Now that's going to vary. I don't know how much the tips are going to be, but I save them because I look at that as over and above and extra. And so I save those. Very painless to do. I use cash. I take out money for miscellaneous and food at the beginning of every month. And I used to take out like 400. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm only taking 300 because I was realizing that I wasn't really spending that much. So why take out that much cash? Don't need to. But I take out that cash. And then what I do, and this is another tip that I got from another YouTuber. I just have to give credit where credit's due. But basically what I do when I use my cash is I first started saving all my ones. And then I heard somewhere that save your fives too. So I started saving my fives because when you save a $5 bill, well, that's 5 ones. And so, man, you save so much faster. So I started putting my fives aside too. And I was saving a lot of money. When I got the change back and I got ones and I got fives, I did not spend those. I saved them. The other thing that I do is I save my change. That can add up to an enormous amount of money. And I have a story for that because when I was a hairdresser, back then in the 70s and the 80s, if you got a dollar bill, a $5 tip, paper money, that was great. But a lot of times it was 50 cents. It was 75 cents. You got a lot of quarters, because this was the 70s. It wasn't like it is now where people tip way more because prices were a lot lower. And I didn't do anything with the change. I didn't. And I remember my mom and my sister came over to my apartment and they just saw change laying around everywhere. And they said to me, hey, you know what? We'll take all this change and we'll count it for you, which back then they didn't have anything at the banks where you could just throw the money in there and it counted it for you. You had to literally count it and put it in the paper wrapper things. It took some time. I wasn't doing it, but they said, hey, if you give us 20% of what we end up counting, we'll do it for you. And do you know that the amount of change that I had in my apartment added up to, I believe, $200 just in change that I had laying around. So save your change. It adds up to a lot and it's painless. Taking cash out of the ATM, putting aside the fives, putting aside the ones, saving your change. It is painless, absolutely painless. The other thing you can do, and I actually mentioned this to my son, but somewhere I heard about paying yourself first. So basically you go to work And that first hour of the day, you pay yourself. So you take your hourly, you save it. Every day you work, you save whatever your hourly is for that first hour of work. Okay, for instance, you make $20 an hour. You work 5 days a week. That is $100 at the end of the week. $400 a month. That's huge by the end of the year. And that is just, it's just putting aside. It's like saying, I'm working 8 hours, but I'm only going to live on 7 hours. And I'm going to take that other hour, 1 hour, and put it aside and save it. You know, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that. So that can add up to a huge amount of money. You do that year after year after year. My boyfriend has, from the time he got his first paycheck, he went into the military, into the Marines when he was 17. Every paycheck that he has gotten for his whole life, and he is 72, he has put $100 aside out of every paycheck that he's ever gotten. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But it was a habit. And that's the thing. When you have the habit of saving, it's amazing. It is amazing what you can do. What do I do with what I've saved? I have to say, I have my safe, and that's where I put my money. And on occasion, when I have someone come to visit me, my middle son was just here last week. If we're going out to dinner, if we're doing something that costs some money, yeah, I take a little cash out. It's kind of like fun money. That very seldom happens, but that's where the money comes from. I take it out of there. And I really enjoy it. It's fun. Fun money. But I have to say, this last Sunday, we went to the last home game of the Cardinals, and I was shocked because I had taken some money out of there. So I had some cash for like food or something like that, which usually if I go to a Cardinals game, I will bring in food because they will let you do that. I'm not going to save, and I'm not going to spend an ungodly amount on food there. But there are times where I'm just thinking, okay, it's a special occasion. I was there with my son and my daughter-in-law and my one of my other sons and my grandson, and we were having a great time. I'll splurge every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's kind of what I had the money for. Well, we were sitting in the sun. I was very hot. I had to get out of the sun and just cool off a little bit to get into the shade. So I'm looking around at the different places where you can buy things, and there was no cash accepted. And then I found out from somebody else that since COVID, Busch Stadium doesn't take cash anymore. I guess they think it's dirty or something. I don't know. But what I did end up getting is a bratwurst, hamburger, fries, water, and maybe a soda. $38. That was disgusting. The hamburger, the cheeseburger wasn't even that good. The fries were okay. Not worth the money that I paid. But what I had to do is I had to message my son and say, can you come out here, use your card, and then I will just pay you cash for however much it ends up being. And that's what I had to do. But that brings me to why use cash? What I love about cash is purchases are not tracked. When you use your debit card, when you use the credit card company, the bank, they know what you're buying. And when you use cash, nobody knows what you're buying except you. And I like not being tracked. I really do. Plus, that money that I get back, it's part of my saving plan. So anyway, that's the other thing. You go to buy something with your credit card or your debit card, what do you start seeing on social media? You start seeing ads for those. You go on Amazon and you use your card to buy something, all of a sudden you're seeing all these ads. They know. They know what you were looking at. They know what you're interested in. I really don't want all of them to know what I'm interested in. I just don't like that. Actually, checks are making a comeback. I used a check at the hairdresser the other day because they get a charge when a credit card is used. They don't get a charge when a debit card is used. But in my little town, the mechanic, they said they get charged for debit and credit cards, both. At my vet, this is the best, they give a 3% discount for using cash or writing a check. I'm doing that. So I have my checkbook with me all the time. And I used to leave it at home all the time because I didn't hardly use it. The other thing is, I'm sure a lot of you still write checks occasionally for whatever, but you may start writing more checks. But don't go to your bank. You will get the ugliest checks, not even duplicate, and you'll pay way more, and they're ugly. And you get half as many as what you used to. I went to checks.com. I used to get checks there all the time. And I hadn't gone there for a long time because I just didn't go through my checks that much. I went there, I got more checks than my bank was giving me, and I paid a lot less for them. So there are times and places to use a check. And I am writing more checks. I write a check for my utilities, at the mechanic, at the vet, at my hairdresser. Yeah, so I'm writing. Oh, and I write a check for my car insurance. I do that too. Mortgage, pay that online. I still do that. I don't want to put that in the mail. And that's the other thing. I don't put checks in the mail. I only write checks at places where I'm literally handing them the check. I'm not going to put a check in the mail. There's too much that has gone on when it comes to the Postal Service in people somehow getting a hold of a check in the mail and check washing and all that. Even when they say on the back that they can't do it, it seems like that's still happening. And so I don't do that. The only way I write a check is when I'm actually handing it to the business that I'm doing, or in my insurance company. I mean, it is here in town. I put it in the Dropbox if they're not there. And so never in the mail. Never in the mail. Won't do it. So anyway, that is all I have for today. But think about, and you know what? If there's other ways that you save that I didn't talk about, that I am always looking for new ways to save money. Painless is best, but I'm always looking for new ways to do it. So if you have a way that I did not mention, please put it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It helps my channel. Give it a thumbs up. All those things. It really, really does help. So, like I always say, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Till next time. Bye.